Reprobates. Hello inflatable fans, I hope you're all well. We're down by Brayton Bridge in Selby area, and a couple of the guys are out. We've got the machine and the folding man. Folding man's got a new boat. It's an Amphibio Stigma. I think it might be the Stigma by the time he's finished with it. He's got he's bought an additional inflatable floor to go in it, and he's going to try it both with and without today. Might let me have a little paddle after. This one is a bit unbranded in it, Raph.
Yeah, that's the Riverloon one.
Yeah. So this is just an unbranded, generic, cheap, homemade Packraft.
It's an Amphibio classic clone.
Right, okay, so it's a clone. As for me, I'm in something a bit different, and I need to thank Mike from Maelstrom Online for this. He sent me this to try out. Not sure how the hell it's going to pan out. Let's get this on the go. So that's what I'm going out in today. Basically what it is a big dry bag. Anyway, I'm going to give Raph the camera while I inflate this. Hopefully inflate it anyway. So, big dry bag. Hey, that's not bad. That worked out better than I thought. Oh my god, that's so soft. Now what this does have is a little valve here, so you can actually add more air to it. But that worked out better than I thought. I kind of want to give it another go. I think I should roll that so it's at the top, because otherwise that's going to catch in the water, and there's a skeg mount here, and that's obviously in the way. You're trying not to laugh, aren't you? Oh, I've gone the wrong way again. Sorry. Yeah, I feel as though I've got that. Yeah, that's a bit firmer, oddly enough. There's only one way to find out. So what I've just done to make this a bit firmer is, you might remember this pump, the one that I smashed and repaired. I have actually just popped that valve over. A Boston valve will fit over the top. You have to hold it while you unscrew the valve itself, then turn it on, and I've managed to get quite a bit more air in that. Now, what this also comes with is a skeg. You might recognise this skeg. It's one of those really small ones that comes with the drop stitch kayak. And the reason being is, these are made in the same factory, as far as I'm aware, as the one at Tego. Now you might also remember the Climate Light Water dinghy that I reviewed. In terms of weight, this is about the same. But I think this might be a little bit more practical. Comes with a seat with one of those screw top valves. There is Velcro at the back and Velcro on there, and that just pushes into place. There are some instructions on the inside of here, some guidelines. 220 centimeters. It weighs 1.5 kilos, which is naff all. I don't even think it weighs that. And it says to inflate to no more than 1 psi. 1 psi? Don't think you'd get close to that. Anyway, Carl, stop yakking and get the bloody thing on the water. It's definitely in the short category. Hello, little bee. We're off. Right, let's just set the old speedo going, because I am intrigued as to what this will do. So first observation, not a lot of room, although your feet do touch the front, which is alright, but not a lot of room for gear or anything. It bounces along nicely.
Look at this. Yeah, it's exactly like I did expect it to do. Brilliant, that.
Well, we'll find out if it's brilliant or not.
It's brilliant.
I'm guessing I'm not going to be in the fastest packraft today.
My dad lived in the next village.
So I'm moving along at around 2.2 miles an hour, which is roughly what I expected. I thought it'd be about 2 miles an hour. In terms of stability, I mean, if I rock it about, it certainly doesn't feel like it's going to go anywhere. Just realised I forgot my hat and my sunglasses today. Bad move. Won't be long before this canal's too weedy to do anything on. So what this doesn't have is, in terms of seating, is any kind of backrest. That's not a bad thing. If you're doing some bouncy water, you want to be upright anyway and just let the boat rock. Because if you go with the boat, that's when you end up going over. So, and a backrest can be dangerous to that because you can end up attaching yourself, connecting to the boat, and that's when that happens. So it doesn't have that. I don't feel the lack of a backrest as an issue, if you know what I mean. The small on my back is supported by the back of the boat, but unlike a lot of packrafts where they've got like a bulbous rear where you can lean back on it, there's not so much to lean back on here. And I'm now way behind the guys because I've been yammering to the camera. I have put the skeg in this. I very much doubt it would make much difference. Let's just see what it turns like. So I'm going to do one paddle stroke, see if we can do a 180 with one paddle stroke. Yeah, maybe the skeg is making a difference. So 2 strokes. I mean, it's certainly nimble in terms of it turns on a sixpence. And you see all the underwater cabbages. Come on now, what would a review be without some underwater cabbages, eh? So let's give it a bit more of a speed test. So yeah, 2.2 miles an hour. Let's give it a bit more pull. 2.3, 2.4. The nose end does feel like it's bouncing out of the water when I do this. 2.3, so yeah, 2.3, 2.4 if you're pulling relatively hard. And I am using a low angle paddle, so it's not pulling in as much water as say a high angle paddle. But it's okay. I think the market for this is because it's so light, I think the market for this is a bit better than that Climate Light Water dinghy. And the reason why I say that is because this is so light, you could easily pack this with your camping gear, leave it outside your rucksack with a 4-piece, 5-piece paddle, and you don't need a pump to inflate it. So if you had to traverse some water, granted you'd have the boat on very low pressure, but with additional gear on top, it would add to the feet. That would pressure the boat as well, additional gear stacked on top. And you have got 4 tie-out points, so you could actually utilise that and have the gear above your feet. So I think there is a market for this, for that kind of thing, for that kind of trip. And the fact that you can add more air by mouth, yeah. What'll be interesting to see is when we've done say like a mile or 2 down the water, what the pressure is like in these tubes. Now it has obviously gone down a little bit because it's in the water and the water's cold, certainly compared to the ambient air temperature that it was inflated in. So yeah, so far the only thing that's not impressing me, not very comfortable here. Loving it. Old rail bridge, one side and then the other. Unfortunately I haven't got a polarising lens on, but I love this time of year where you can see all the underwater growth, and it does make all the little fishes really stand out. Anyway, we're approaching the first bridge, and I'll give you a distance and pressure update when we reach that. So we've reached Burn Bridge. I think you can see that. We've done almost a mile in about 36 minutes. Now this has definitely lost some air. But if you look at the front, it doesn't feel like it's lost enough to be unsafe at this moment in time. And I'm certainly not sinking. So let's go on. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, Mike, who sent this to me, he said it may seep air. So it's not like I didn't know that that might happen. It just depends, I think, kind of like how far you can go with it, and knowing if you've got somewhere where you can actually get out and put some air in when you need to. A bit like an electric car. You can only go so far in an electric car before you have to stop and put some electric in. Well, a bit like any fuel car really, isn't it? Talking bollocks, Carl. Hello. We just come round a corner and seen all these little duckadoodles. Hello. Right, we've reached Burton Hall Bridge. So we're going to get out here, have a couple of snacks. This is going to be our turnaround point, and let's have a look to see what this boat's like when I drag it out the water. Right, got it out the water, and do you know what? It's not as bad as I thought. I think sometimes, you know, when you sat on, that's actually still really firm. I don't think that's lost much at all. I think it's just the whole water pressure thing, you know, and blah blah blah, the changing in air temperature. It's just made it feel softer when it's in the water than out of the water. It's all right. Yeah, quite impressed. Obviously there's a fair bit of splashing in the boat from the paddles, but nothing to ride over the sea. Oh, look at that, there's quite a bit down there, but that's easy to tip out. But that's the advantage of having like the inflatable cushion. If you do get a load of water in it, you're not going to get a wet arse. Right, I'm going to paddle back, and I'll give you my views when we get back.
And you haven't topped it up?
No, I haven't topped it up, no.
Purposely to see what it's like. And what
Yeah,
it's like.
see how much it holds.
Yeah, because if it is just tempering, it should stay the same as that.
It should stay the same, yeah. So it shouldn't be too bad. An hour and 42 at the minute in terms of time this boat has been inflated. We've done 1.89 miles. Let's see what it's like when we get back. I am going to regret not bringing shades today. And a hat. And a hat. Right, we've got back to our launch point. I'm going to let Raph have a little play in this. He wants to have a go in it. But then I'll drag it out and we'll do the wrap up. Show you what it's been like. Show you what the pressure's like and everything. Now I'm just going to film Raph in it a little bit because I haven't seen what I look like in it.
Wider, doesn't it?
Yeah. So that's kind of what it looks like from the rear. It is quite wide, as he says, but it feels narrow when you're in it, but it feels wider than the Ituit PR500. To me it still looks like it's holding about the same air pressure that it has throughout, probably a little bit softer just because everything loses a bit of air and that's got less integrity than anything else. But sorry, we're just getting in everybody's way. Just watch out for the paddles. We're just trying to create trip hazards just to make life interesting. So just to give you an idea of size, kind of got the noses roughly in line, but as you can see it's not as long as a pretty standard Packraft. Yeah, considerably shorter. So let's have a look underneath this dinky little thing. Unusual design. Now what this reminds me of is the Climate Light Water dinghy. This has that same thing where the floor is a little bit recessed to the chamber, and I think that's to try and keep your backside from dragging in the water and slowing the boat down. Slightly V-shaped hull, so it's gonna cut a little bit, and then as you can see there's the skeg mount. Now this feels quite sturdy and strong in there. A lot of weed on the water today and it's not been an issue. This has been inflated now for over 3 hours and it feels marginally softer than when I set off. So it holds air pretty well. That still feels really firm at the back. Yeah, quite impressed with that. That's not bad at all. Overall, I've got to say, it's quite an unusual little craft, and I think there's a market for it if you want an ultralight boat to walk around with, get on some water in various places, or even take on a train or whatever. Do you get what I mean? You know, if you're just wanting something really light to lug about, yeah, I think there's a market for that. Anyway, that's all for now. You know what to do about liking what I do on this channel and subscribing, and share this with anybody who you think might be interested. Alright, you take care of yourself. Cheerio. And of course, this is one of the easiest boats to deflate. I had a lot of wraps on that. One of the easiest boats to deflate. Not bad.